Letting number 8675, employee parking for fence and gates installation at City of St. Louis Water Division. We have no bids today. Thank you.
Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Here.
Director Wilson.
Here.
Director Hayes.
Here.
Director Augustin. Here. Director Argy is excused. Director Edwards.
Here.
And President Bradley.
Here we have a quorum. I'll call a meeting in order.
Okay, from the President. Contracting bond for letting number 8673. Terminal 1 charging station devices and entry airlock doors 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. St. Louis Lambert International Airport, St. Louis, Missouri. Non-federal limited design and implementation reimbursable agreement between the Department of Transportation, Federal Aviation Administration, and the City of St. Louis Lambert International Airport. This agreement provides funding for FAA services limited to labor, travel, and expenses required to perform limited technical and or engineering support, design, and implementation services to support the following project: evaluation, site visits, impact assessments, etc. for FAA equipment and facilities. Facilities Management Division, MAT Services Contract with St. Louis Madden Linen Company, 2122 Salisbury, St. Louis, Missouri. The contract provides service for facilities at various city locations, including City Hall, the 1520 Market Street facility, and those of St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department through October 31st, 2019, and is renewable for up to 2 additional one-year terms. The maximum not to exceed amount is $75,000. Amendment number 3 to the Equipment Services Division Personnel Services Contract for Municipal Vehicle Fleet Technicians number 70881 with Launch Trans-Tech, 700 Commerce Drive, Suite 140, Oak Brook, Illinois. The amendment increases the maximum not to exceed amount of $33 million. Permit for uplift data partners to drone fly over Forest Park and Cortex, November 2018 for video. Recommends approval. From the Director of Public Utilities, recommendation that the following emergencies be approved as follows: a collapsed 036 cast iron river outfall pipe which serves to drain the combined influent from Chain of Rocks water treatment plant, water treatment basin number 1, clarifier basin 1, 2, and 3, and pre-sedimentation basins 1, 2, 3, and 4. Install a 4-inch diameter HDPE pothole water main connection between Noonan Avenue and McCausland via horizontal directional drill to ensure water quality and provide for increased demand. From the Director of Public Utilities and Streets, joint recommendation that permit for Ameren, Missouri to install new manholes and duct bank at Clark Street between 14th and Tucker, City Hall parking lot be approved subject to certain conditions. Recommendation that C2 Service Group, Inc. to connect to AT&T manhole at 1260 South Spring be filed by reason of the fact that the application is being made to the Communications Division under the property owner's name for this work. From the Director of Public Utilities and Public Safety, joint recommendation that Steve Kinston to subdivide land at 3237 through 39 Pulaski in City Block 2741 be approved subject to certain conditions. From the Director of Parks, Recreation, and Forestry, assignment and assumption of lease agreement between Lanny Concessions Limited Company, Fleet Enterprises LLC in the City of St. Louis, providing for the assumption and acceptance by assignee of our obligations of leasing under the 2015 contract for operation of the concession stand at Francis Park. Recommends approval. From the Director of Public Safety, we have one conditional use. The conditional use is for a gas mart, for a convenience store, gas station, full packaged liquor, and cooking at 4403 Laclede. Recommends approval.
Are there any questions from the board on the conditional use? Seeing none, I'll take a motion, please.
I move to approve the conditional use.
Second. Moved in second for approval. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Aye.
Director Wilson.
Aye.
Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Aragy is excused. Director Edwards.
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye. Conditional use is approved. Hearing number 8222, Syrian Restaurant at 4658 Gravois. We had a conditional use hearing last week, and we tabled this action. I would like to ask for a motion on table, please.
I so move.
Second.
Moved and seconded to on table. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Aye.
Director Wilson.
Aye.
Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Aragy is excused. Director Edwards.
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye, untabled. So last week we heard from the zoning inspector that there were two conditions that had been corrected by the conditional use permit holder. We heard a report from the Department of Health where they listed several items that they were working with or beginning to work with the conditional use permit holder on. And so the question came up as to whether or not we could continue to hold this revocation or what action we should take. So we tabled this item and our city councilor, board representative did some investigations, and the following is a statement from her. She is not here today, but I think this will make it clear to the board on how we need to proceed. Following the last meeting, we looked into the history and purpose of the health inspections of the businesses appealing revocation of a conditional use permit. They were required as some businesses had conditions attached to permits that required the health inspection, such as tattoo parlors, restaurants, etc., to determine if they comply. At some point in time, health began reading a full inspection report into the record, the scope of which went beyond the reported violations leading to the revocation hearing. While the results of the full inspection are informational to the business owner and can result in a measure of actions being taken against the permit holder, including possible court prosecution and possible lowering of food code grade, only violations of conditions of the permit can be used to revoke the holder's conditional use permit pursuant to Section 26.100.030B of the Revised Code of the City of St. Louis. And that is a statement from Barbara Burkett, our city councilor, and vetted by Mike Garvin, deputy city councilor. So the interpretation of that is that we had two conditions that were in violation. We had testimony from zoning that those two conditions were rectified satisfactorily. And so at this point, I would like to open the floor for any discussion about this revocation hearing.
Mr. President, I would concur with the attorney with respect to this matter, that if we act beyond the scope of the condition, the violations of the conditions that were noticed up pursuant to charter or otherwise, then we are way beyond the scope, and whatever we do would be a nullity. So I would agree with.
Duly noted. Other comments from the board? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion concerning this hearing.
I would make a motion that the permit holder, having satisfied the violations, that this matter would he would be able to continue in the business without any further action of this body.
Thank you, sir. So I have a motion not to revoke. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie. Director Wilson.
Aye.
Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Urge is excused. Director Edwards.
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye, not revoked. Okay. I'd like to turn your attention to our meeting minutes from October 30th, 2018. Are there any questions or comments on the minutes as presented?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Moved and second for approval of last week's minutes. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Aye.
Director Wilson.
Aye.
Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Urge is excused. Director Edwards.
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye, the minutes are approved. Today's agenda, questions or comments on the agenda?
I have one correction. Under Director of Public Utilities, item number 1, a collapsed 036, that should be a collapsed 36-inch. Otherwise.
We have one correction to the agenda. Any other comments or corrections? Seeing none, I'll take a motion pending the correction.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded pending the correction. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Aye.
Director Wilson.
Aye.
Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Urge is excused. Director Edwards.
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye, today's agenda is approved. Motion for adjournment, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all.